Hey folks, how's it going? Now a quick little vid, nothing too strenuous for you to have to stay tuned for in this one. If you've been following us on Facebook and Twitter and stuff like that there, you will have noticed that February we've been trying to do a bit of a build month down at the bunker, and I've been pushing myself particularly hard on sort of scenery and little terrain pieces and things like that there. So tonight I have built the Amera factory building. A couple little warlord Germans on there just for the sake of it. No, it's by no means finished. It's by no means finished. But that's it built. That's the kit built. And what you're going to see in the vid now is a set of just still pictures. I'll maybe talk over them. Of the process, and I ran a little timer on my phone down at the bottom to sort of give you a rough idea of how long the whole thing took. Now, in total to get to this point, it's ended up taking sort of like an hour and a half, 2 hours roughly, and that was sticking up against a radiator to get it dry for a bit of spray coat going onto it. Brain was sort of thinking, if it was really pushed, how quickly could it go from this being in a plastic bag to getting onto a gaming table? And the answer is roughly about 2 hours. So there you go. If you need to build this in a rush, you can build it in a rush. Ran out of spray paint, so even the spray job isn't finished on it yet. No interior done, no detail whatsoever. Just basically get the thing built. So yeah, that's it. That's all basically to tell you. You're not going to see a video of the construction. It's not going to be like, oh my god, how long is this going to take? It is just sort of still images spread out, and I'll chat you through a few of the bits and pieces that cropped up. I mean, great kits in general. Amera stuff is fantastic. My bugbear, and it's not uniquely to them. It's kind of everybody. The instructions are okay. But like all instructions, they could be a little bit better. There's a couple of shortfalls that I watched, and it's you kind of look at it and go, yeah, I know what I'm doing. Read it, yeah, I know what I'm doing. And then you build it and go, that's not right. And then you look again and go, ah, right, okay, yeah. But I think I can chat you through those better over the pictures with a wee voiceover. So there you go. Proceed onward. So first things first, pack out. Daunting task as always. New model, but let's get cracking. So everything gets laid out so we can see what we've got to work with, and take an assessment what's there, make sure it's all there, and then a good solid read at the instructions. First task of the night then is to cut out all the windows. The doorways don't have the instruction to be cut out in the paperwork, so I thought, well, you know what, I'm going to do what I'm told. I'm going to leave them there. Good sharp knife, good safe surface to work on, because you will be cutting through the plastic, and take your time, because the plastic, good sharp knife and the plastic is soft. It is very easy to go off piste and make a terrible mistake. Not that I made a terrible mistake. No, really, I didn't make a terrible mistake. Next step we're going to do is to assemble those long walls to the two short walls. In this kit, it kind of helps you the fact that there's a tall end and a short end. There's plenty of places to go wrong, especially if you're a twit like me, but at least in this case, I got it kind of right. Do be careful, there's better edges to join on the inside than on the outside. I used a little bit of super glue on the inside edges, and then once that had sort of taken hold and was in place, I reinforced that with run down the seams with the PVA glue as well, and then let that start to dry before I proceeded on a bit. So our two inner floors are next. Now when you actually look at these, there's a raised area, and you'll probably have seen that in the first picture. I found the best way was to turn them upside down so that you're looking down into that little recess, and then cut away the flat piece, leaving that lip. You want the lip there because those inner floors, that lip is to help prevent your miniatures taking a bounce and sliding off the inner walkway and down to a possibly chipped death at the bottom of the model. So again, bit of finesse with the sharp blade. Make sure you don't go wrong, and just take your time. Good safe cutting board underneath you when you're doing that as well. So, time to fess up to blunders number 1 and blunders number 2, okay? Blunder number 1, which you might not necessarily twig initially looking at this photograph, is that floor is in the wrong way round. The lip is up, but the whole thing should be rotated around 180 degrees. That open square should be closer up to the windows on the left hand side as you're looking at it, because that lip on the right hand side is actually like a veranda, not veranda, but you know what I mean. It's an outside area on the top, which, okay, got it a bit wrong. Blunder number 2 is that you can also see I'd glued on the end wall there, and really at this point you don't want to have done that. Ha! Should I have said that in the first shot? Probably, but hopefully you're watching all this before you tackle building it. So leave off your 2 end walls until you get the inner floor and the sort of the roof floor in. Now, you'll maybe not make this mistake. I made the mistake of gluing them high, and in actual fact they kind of sit down on the window sills of the floor beneath them, so to speak. So there should be a drop down, and you can see it better in the later picture where in the roof you can see there's a sort of a lip and an edge there too, and again, to stop your miniatures just toppling off the roof, creates a little rift. So you sink the floors down and glue them in position just above the windows, using the lips of the windows on the inside to help actually give you somewhere to support those floors as well. So upper floor or roof now in, and you can see that the second floor, the interior floor, has been fixed in that one as well. At this point, it's worth mentioning as well, you're probably going to be wanting to support the sides to help those bond with the floorways as well. In the past I've used like sticky tape, I've used blue tack, I've used, as you see here, another building, pressing it against it. Whatever works for you, whatever you've got to hand, just add a little bit of pressure and just stop the sides from pulling away until they cement in place. Now that little rooftop back wall goes in at this point, and what I've found is you need to kind of slide the bottom of it into the gap on the lower floor, and then bring it up into place to join on to the top. It'll kind of mine certainly wanted to go at a little bit of an angle, so I had to apply some pressure from the inside for a while until that set in place to keep that wall straight as well. And you can see there I've got bits of tape, as I mentioned previously, holding the sides in situation as well. Not maybe immediately obvious, but the base is now in place, and the base has a raised area, and it's got little sort of nubs in where the doors are there. You can glue this in place. Obviously, because the interior isn't painted yet, I haven't done, and it has been carted about quite happily, not glued. The pressure of the walls is holding the building onto the base quite happily for now, but once I get it painted, yeah, maybe I'll take it and glue it. Don't know. Undecided on that one. Might want to put some interior into it as well. The stack then, I'm always in two minds about these sort of elements. It looks alright. You could use a solid tube yourself quite easily. The folks at Amera, what you have is, as you'll remember from the first picture, it's the 2 halves. There is quite a bit to trim off. You need to trim off the top to get it flat. You probably want to sand that to get it even. And the 2 halves are glued together, even or sellotaped together in that shot until such times as the glue takes. It's probably the most fiddly bit to just get right in terms of the angles and that. And even at the minute, I'm not happy with it. I will be revisiting the top of that to smooth it off and level it off a little bit. And it strikes me, it's the sort of thing in previous ones where, you know, a hard knock and poof, off it comes, but, you know, you just glue it on, a touch of paint and you're fixed again. Doesn't need it. There's nothing on the inside to say it should be there, sort of thing. It's just another little feature for you to play with if you want to, but it is one to definitely take an extra little bit of time and care with, just to get it cut out right. Get the bottom completely flat, because once you glue it in, then you don't want any gaps. Of course, you can use filler, and a lot of these kits, the guys will tell you themselves, you know, a little bit of modelling filler or whatever to fill in cracks or gaps, and that all helps the stability and helps the thing hold together too. But touch wood, we're okay so far. And the biggest time lag then is obviously the fact that went and stuck it against a radiator, kept turning it around 3 or 4 times to try and sort of speed up the drying of the glue. It is a little bit messy. I was a bit sort of heavy-handed with it, but I can sort that out. I'm also intending this will be quite a sort of battered, dilapidated factory, so there'll be a lot of sort of debris getting glued onto the kit, which will mask some of my huge dollops of glue that have stuck here, there, and everywhere, as I just was sort of working against the clock to try and get this one done, see how quickly I could do it to turn it around and get it onto the table. So there we go. The roof obviously not done, or not painted at least, because I'm intending to do that sort of as if it's got glass on the flat sides there, like the old factory buildings would have had, and then I'm thinking of like a rusted sort of corrugated effect going on the flat bits of the roof for that, and then I'll grey off the floor area, and that's there just to give it enough hold that you can have that on, lift it off, and it gives you access then to the interior ground floor and the first floor balcony too, if you want that. Of course, there's absolutely nothing to stop you having this kit done that it's inaccessible. Glue that on quite happily. Equally with the windows, you could have left the windows, the plastic in, and painted them up as glass if that's the sort of thing you want to do, or only cut out a few of them here and there. You can play around with this quite happily, and if you're even more creative, of course, you can do much more surgery with a hobby knife to change the overall structure of the building in other ways, if that's the sort of thing you want to do too. But obviously, as with all these types of things, if you're using sharp blades, knives, scissors, clippers, do exercise extreme care. Your digits are important.